The true meaning of the fifth voice chakra. In the name of the Savior, who died nailed to the cross at 33, who was the 13th to the 12 disciples, and as 13 represents resurrection, he appropriately occupies the 13th placement, and his name is Jesus, Cetus. Wait. Before 1524, the letter J is known to not have existed, and prior to 1524, the C looked like a stylized S and T, both which did exist. Prior to 1524, the followers of Jesus were called, and you can look this up yourself just by Googling it, Yesayans, and Cetus was the one and same Leviathan, a destroyer of the waters as a cetacean, much like the killer whales of today, which are suddenly attacking in organized assaults human boats. But that is another video in itself. Suffice it to say, there is a lot to explore about these connections between Jesus, Cetus, the Leviathan, killer whale, and serpent of the skies, as Isaiah himself writes. But Isaiah also wrote about the old and new heavens, a time when there were 10 months across 360 days, and the names of the 10 months reflected their meaning, where 10 new moons occurred, and the etymology of the word month is moon, and specifically the new moons. Yet, Jesus himself speaks of a wrath of God that results in the new kingdom of heaven, in which God manifests himself, a new one, where it is not 360 days anymore, but a new kingdom of heaven made of 365 days. And those 365 days of the new kingdom of heaven in one annual year do not occur in 10 months or new moons, but 13, the number of our Savior, who at the age of 33, the number of vertebrae in our spine, was crucified, who himself refused to be called the Lord, i.e., the Son, because the Son is the central Lord. And even Jesus said he is not the Lord, and even calls those who call him Lord devils. So, what does this all mean? Simply put, that the person we know as Jesus incontestably spoke. But how did he find the power in him to speak? And how was he such a master of the spoken word? Granted, he was the Son of God, but are we all not told just the same? And isn't Jesus, as a person and deity, still not an archetype of the hero who inspires many of us? Surely, there must be a way that we too can be more like Jesus. And while this video is going to drop some incredible proofs that either support your worldview or offend it, nevertheless, we all are offered up this knowledge to question, because the point of your mentalism, per the Hermetic principle of mentalism, is meant to question society for you to take back control of your inner peace of mind. Because as the name of Abraham and Brahma both mean, open-minded, you and I deserve a world of open-minded people who live their truth despite the world society that imposes borders and lies that divide us, especially from the highest truth. The highest truth is that which beats in your heart, but the heart is foolish. Thus, you must use the reason of the higher mind to guide the heart. The bridge between these two, the heart chakra and the third eye, is one thing, highly sought after, the 33rd degree, the final vertebra of the spine through which the spinal secretion from the Holy Grail, in the coccyx of the spine, pools inside a bone called atlas, wherefrom a right side spinning whirlpool emerges whose vibration emits a sound frequency called hum. with a turquoise-colored hue. I'm speaking, of course, of the voice chakra. What is the voice chakra per Jesus Christ? In the Revelation of St. John, it reads, "But to the rest of you in Thyatira, to those who do not hold this teaching, who have not learned what some people call the deep things of the adversary, I say this: I am not loading you up with another burden. Only hold fast to what you have until I come." In other words, trust it is okay to be you, to hold fast to the heart and mind in you. This fifth church of Thyatira begins with the same letters as the following words, throat and thymus, both of which are the organ and gland, respectively, associated with the fifth Hindu chakra, and the word chakra means destroyer of illusion. To some, this may seem like a digression and a leap of cultural bounds where there is no segue connection between the seven churches as professed to St. John during his revelations by Jesus and the seven Hindu chakras. But I simply present this knowledge to inspire you to question. Do not hate the messenger, as they say, but question for sure the message. That is invited. The most important aspects of the Vishuddha throat chakra are the fact that this represents the 33rd vertebra or degrees of the Masonic occult rites, the sacred lunar Christos secretion, which is in the first degree of the spinal column or the coccyx, ruled by the 13th sign of Christ and Scorpio. Notice, it is Christos, not Jesus, as Christos comes from the Sanskrit word Chris, which means sacred and is the same meaning in Krishna, whose original devotees were Christians, and Krishna is the lunar god. I know this may seem like old information for some of you, but there are new viewers watching this, therefore please be patient and compassionate to those new to this information. Thus, Krishna, Christos, the moon, and lunar coccyx spinal secretion lives in the first degree, and this is called Kundalini. And when you awaken this, you are what is called a first degree, a lamb, or initiate. When this spinal fluid has gone up the 32 vertebra of the spine, it pools in the final 33rd degree of the spinal column in a bone called Atlas, the 33rd spinal bone, the 33rd degree. And Atlas is the god that lifts up the heavens originally, not Gaia. Indeed, question the narrative. Atlas originally held up the universe, which in itself is made of the words universe. For you Spanish speakers out there, this is an easy Masonic word to decipher. Just think universe, or see oneself. Back to Atlas. Atlas is a god, not a constellation. So, who is the constellation that represents Atlas? Cetus, the Leviathan, the destroyer of universes, worlds, just like Jesus. And anatomically, Cetus, Atlas, Jesus, is the bone where the head is crucified upon the cross of the body formed by the shoulder running along the spine. Atlas is the name of the bone where this Christos secretion pools before it meets the Jesus secretion of the brain. And Jesus is the name given to this cerebral secretion by the Gregorians and creators of the Gregorian calendar in 1582, when after 1492, knowledge began to pour into the European Gregorian civilization stuck in the Dark Ages of the Middle Ages, finally getting unstuck because of the newly discovered Americas in 1492, where conquistadores and the New World explorers discovered the remnants of a people called the Maya, who kept meticulous records of time, calendars, and a special savior who they described as a reborn deity, who was made of a light that shined, but was as real as matter, except as a non corporeal reality, just like Jesus is described in the New Gospel after his resurrection. Little did the conquistadores know, but soon realized, this deity the Aztecs called Quetzalcoatl, who came to their ancestors called the Maya, and who disappeared, leaving no trace because they simply transcended, using the magic science as taught by this deity made of light, was one and the same, Jesus Cristo, where he taught to the Maya of the Yolotl. Jesus and Yolotl both share the same Y sound, and both names speak of electricity, as Jesus harkens to Zeus, and the Mayan Yolotl harkens to this, which represents the crucifix of Yolotl, and what today is called in electrical engineering a motor in star and delta connection. And the heart is known to have more neural connections than the brain. The heart, not the brain or stomach, is the electrical power plant of the body, and the Maya incorporated the knowledge we know of as motor in star and delta connection into their symbology of the heart and electricity, just the same as the Greco-Egyptians taught Jesus. How did the Maya know? Well, they themselves attribute this knowledge to Yolotl, or Jesus. The libraries of the Aztecs, which housed the books of the lost civilization of the Maya, corroborate one other story born from the Americas, that of the Mormons, which for all those shrugging off with disgust remember, do not throw stones, for you might not know you live in a glass house. But be mindful of the following illusions: that any religion is bad. That is not true. No religion is bad. Equally, no religion is omniscient. And all religions are but attempts at a collective practice. They all hold a bit of truth. But true religion is a personal search of God as self. True religion is fundamentally when you practice alone in private, but you avoid the loneliness by then extending that practice of God as self toward others. Nevertheless, the European Gregorian civilization, after the discovery of the New World in 1492, experiencing this influx of incredible discoveries from the Americas, had just created the letter J in 1524. Then the Gregorians updated their calendars in 1582, using the Mayan calendars to update theirs from the old heavens to the new, as written by Isaiah and spoken by Jesus as the kingdom of heaven, where the old one was made of the old 360 days, where the sun traversed a zodiac made of 12 signs in one calendar year made of 10 months, or rather new moons. But what of the new kingdom of heaven, as spoken by Jesus? The Mayan calendars revealed so much to the European Middle Age Gregorian world, stuck in the old system of Enoch, which is the source of that old calendar, as written in the book of Enoch, where he is taught all of the old Enochian breakdown. However, the one thing that the Gregorians, the Catholics, and all the other Masonic practices could not decide was what caused the changes from the old to the new, and when. Well, the Maya had the answers to these questions. They recorded that on March 23rd, negative 687, Lucifer was born, the fallen angel, particularly labeled with just one letter, V. V for Venus, Pallas Athena, whose birth was recorded all over the world by all cultures, with one thing in common across all their stories: naphtha, or fire and brimstone, which scientific inquiry has shown would be produced if a celestial occurrence such as a planet like Venus were to have been born from the chemical furnace of Jupiter. Naphtha is another name for petroleum, which even scientists concede all the biomass of fossilized material cannot account for the overwhelming presence of this substance called petroleum. This explains why no other culture in history records of having any of this chemical substance, why we are the first civilization to use it, like the miraculous oil that burned for the Hebrew, and why our civilization uses this petrol for everything, from running our cars and homes to the plastics that we package our food in, almost like we worship it, because, well, it came from the heavens. It came from a planet who destroys planets, a planet called V, a planet whose mythology is as terrifying as it is beautiful. The planet we know as Venus, and equally Medusa, Lucifer, the star of Bethlehem, and one messenger, lived at the tail end of all this disaster and long enough after that disaster to keep occult knowledge of the true knowledge of God Himself alive long enough for us to know today: Jesus Christ. The end of the world in fire and brimstone already happened. In future Occult Secrets Revealed videos, we will explore the breakdown of the birth of the planet called V, how the original ruler of Taurus is not Venus but Gaia, and Taurus is not the bull but just the cow, because even female cows have horns. And more importantly, this cow is one mythical cow represented in all cultural systems all over the world, and as a white, two-horned cow whose name is made of two letters, I-O, Io, the same letters that represent on and off, and the basic binary code of technology, and 1 and 0 are the numbers of alpha and omega. And sorry to be crass, but both men and women can equally get milked, and the white mythical cow Io of the Greeks, the Hindus, the Egyptians, and so on, is responsible for the most important of all secretions, the sacred Milky Way, in which we all exist. This binary code of the sacred white cow Io of Taurus rules Gaia, and we have sung her praises since childhood.
And on this farm there lived a cow, E-I-E-I-O.
And this white cow of Io rules Gaia, the earth of green life, who is like the cow amongst the planets, where nothing but sacred crystal secretion flows all throughout her surface. The birth of Venus, V, as future videos on this channel will show, is responsible for changing the old Enochian 360-day year, with the sun transiting a 12-sign zodiac, across a calendar made of 10 new moon months, and it was not until the Gregorian calendar of 1582, with the influx of revelations coming in from the Maya of the New World of the Americas, that some sense began to come of all the confusion. With the Mayan calendars, the Gregorians were able to update the new calendar, but a calendar tracks the moon months. Every civilization had a moon month calendar and a separate one that tracked the sun, called a zodiac. Thus, Every civilization had a calendar, moon, and corresponding zodiac, sun, except for ours. While the Gregorian calendars attempted an update, our civilization still acts like it is under the old Enochian 12-sign heavens. Our calendars are not under the Enochian calendars. As you can see here, why it is that the names of the months do not mirror their number meaning. And the secrets of these changes from the old to new heavens and the catastrophes that brought these about will be explored in future videos. For now, suffice it to say, the first world catastrophe was brought on by water, Noah's flood, and the rainbow is the promise of no more world-ending floods. The second world catastrophe, as predicted, was with fire and brimstone, which future Occult Secrets Revealed videos will explore in depth and show how that prophecy has already happened. There is evidence peppered all over the Bible and the petroleum in the ground that proves we already suffered the cataclysm of fire and brimstone because the Bible is not a record of prophecy, but of prehistory. There is still so much more to uncover, but this is the most scientific reflection of the new kingdom of heaven as spoken by Isaiah and Jesus right here. The Adonisian Zodiac, discovered in 2019 despite all the secrecy by this guy, Adonis, presenting the Adonisian era as the Old Enochian, and as it will be revealed in future videos, the Anunnaki Zodiac no longer leads to the true understanding of the Hermetic knowledge of Jesus and Thoth. The new Adonisian Zodiac is finally the true match for our civilization's Gregorian calendar. This is the new kingdom of heaven through which God is manifesting himself for us today. Every civilization had a matching moon calendar and sun zodiac. Everyone except for ours. That is, until now. With this Adonisian zodiac discovered by this guy. Me. I am Adonis, or Eduardonis, the one who discovered this zodiac who, like Galileo, holds the keys to the new understanding of our world under God's heavenly kingdom, and, like Nostradamus, I read the future and the past as easy as the present. So, how does it feel to be updated to the new heavenly kingdom as spoken by Isaiah and Jesus? Desire to help me, Adonis, in keeping my Adonisian mission alive? Then please consider a donation or purchasing something more from the store or your own Adonisian CSA Dragon Report. Visit the website now for all of the official Occult Secrets Revealed merch. Desire a purification of your throat chakra and the empowerment of your voice, so you speak your truth stronger. Consider buying a Cetus Mala, the official mala of the Adonisian Zodiac, from the store by clicking the link in the description. Each one is made by me, by hand, with love, and with beautiful, rare butterscotch amber beads from Tibet, with a mythology directly linked to Cetus, as this Leviathan's body was set to fall to earth upon the legendary kingdom of Shambhala, present-day Tibet, where this butterscotch amber oozes out from the ground and trees and is said to be the sacred secretion from the pineal gland of Cetus himself. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, share with others, and invite them to learn more of these occult secrets revealed. Interested in updating your own relationship with God in yourself, with your own proprietary and confidential natal Adonisian chart, delivered right to your inbox in 72 hours or less from time of order? Yes, in less than 72 hours From now, you can have your own occult secrets revealed. Please visit the website www.occultsecretsrevealed.com to book your own Dragon CSA Omega report for $99.99. If you want the complete alpha breakdown of your 13 sun palaces, 12 planetary placements, Mayan joints, and Hindu chakras, and unlock your full mystical abilities, purchase your complete Dragon CSA Alpha Adonisian report. These charts and all of this knowledge is proprietary and confidential, and information you can only get from me. So book now. For all the ways in which you can unlock your secrets, visit the website, and if you desire to and can help in any way, then please consider a generous donation of any amount on the homepage, not via YouTube, as YouTube takes 47% of your memberships and super thanks, and yeah, it hurts. Any help you give via my website goes a truly, really long way in helping this one-man production keep this knowledge flowing. And until next time, trust and believe that it is okay to be you, the most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be. Because you are not a story that can be told twice, and there will never again be a stage for you to perform, but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.